Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Samuel with Cedar Pine Designs, and in today's video I will be working on a set of mid-century nightstands made by Basic Witz. They are in very good shape. They just need an update and maybe a little bit of repairs. So let's jump straight into this one and get our hands dirty. As I start any one of my projects, I like to dismantle it and kind of give it a once over so that way I can see if there's any damage or anything that needs to be repaired, and that is really going to be the gauge for me to determine what kind of project this is going to be, if it's going to be a restoration or if this is going to be a paint job or a two-tone. And from the damage that I found, this piece is in pretty good shape. It just has a lot of nicks, scratches, and dings, and it does have some edge banding that is coming off of the top on the sides. So I decided that this is going to be a two-tone project. So this is very common with mid-century or vintage furniture in general. The veneer will get very dry and the glue underneath will kind of dry up as well, and it makes it very easy for this stuff to flake off. So I decided to just remove it entirely because I'm going to be painting anyway, so I really don't need that stuff on there or try to repair it. Luckily for me, Basic Witz is a very good furniture manufacturer, and they build their stuff with very high quality, which means that's going to make my life a lot easier because I can really take this thing apart. I can take the base off because it's not glued, it's just screwed down. The drawer face and the handle come apart, and even the small little trim piece comes off the handle as well, and that really makes my life a lot easier. So I decided to do a two-tone. I'm going to do bare wood on the sides and the drawer face so that I get the illusion of raw wood wrapping around the entire piece, and then I'm going to paint the top, the handle, and the base in a very nice green, and that's just going to give it a really nice contrast. Also, I get to showcase this really beautiful wood grain that was hiding underneath that old finish. Prep work is one of those things that you don't want to skimp out on, because if you want a really nice smooth paint job, you're going to want to get everything before you start painting. So I use some wood filler so that I can fill in all those scratches, gouges, and any kind of pits that I find, and I use tape to tape off the sides to protect it from paint before I can apply my finish. Refinishing furniture is one of the only aspects of this that you guys get to see, but there is a lot of editing that goes into this stuff, and I don't have a dedicated area for me to do my work at home. Luckily, FlexiSpot reached out to me and was kind enough to send me one of their desks. This is the E7 version. It is a sit-stand desk, so it makes it very convenient for me to be able to sit down and do my work, and if I need a little stretch but I want to continue working, I can raise this thing up to standing level. It is very sturdy, very heavy duty, and I am super thankful that they were offering me one of these tables to try out on their behalf. Assembly is super straightforward. They offer you some instructions that are very clear and precise. It didn't take very much for me to get this thing going. I do suggest that if anybody decides to pick one of these up, that they do have a second person to help them kind of lift this and get it into place, because it is very heavy and very sturdy, which is a good thing, and that's something that you do want for a sit-stand desk. They also included a cable management tray so that I can get all of my wires off of the ground and tucked away to give me a really nice, neat workstation. And now that this thing is put fully together, I am super excited to get some editing done and get some videos pumped out so that way everybody has more videos of mine to watch. Being able to stand up and do my work at the same time is something that's very appealing to me. The fact that I could work and this thing has almost zero wobble to it makes me very confident in this product. The motors are super strong, being able to lift me weighing almost 200 pounds all the way to standing height, while giving you the memory buttons to be able to set your sit and your stand height to any preference that you'd like. Thank you so much, FlexiSpot, for giving me my own workstation. If you are interested in one of these tables, there will be a link in the description below. Now let's jump straight back into this video. I'm using a piece of 150 grit sandpaper and scuff sanding this thing up by hand so that I can prep it for paint. And I did notice that there was a lot of dings in the base, so I filled those with wood filler and I'm sanding those down to flat. Usually I'll use my orbital sander on flat surfaces such as this to remove the wood filler, but one thing that I did notice is that an orbital sander kind of removes a little too much, leaving you having to go back and do a second coat. So I'm glad that I had such a small work area that I can just do it by hand. So now I'm reinstalling the lower base because I am going to paint everything, and it's just going to make it a lot easier for me to paint two nightstands rather than painting a base and a nightstand separately. I'm using my favorite paint cabinet coat that is an enamel acrylic based paint in one of my favorite colors to use. It is a green made by Sherwin-Williams. It's called Laurel Woods, and I really love the tone of this thing. I'm just mixing in some water so that it works with my HVLP spray gun, and it also helps to get you a nice smooth finish. Something that I had missed and didn't notice before was the back panel was loose, so I just had to drive a couple of cabinet nails in that just to get it nice and secure, because I do plan on painting the back as well because it is such a small piece. And I have gotten a lot of people that ask why I don't ever really work on the back of pieces, and the short answer is nobody's ever going to see it, but also the longer answer is that a lot of times on vintage furniture, there will be a lot of markings or information that people would like to see that would give them a little bit of information on the history of the piece. So I really don't like to cover it, but for these pieces, they are so small that when moving them around, you will see the back of them very easily, and I don't want it to look unfinished. So I am using 400 grit sandpaper to scuff between each coat. This is going to create a very good bond between paint coats, but it is also going to give you a nice buttery smooth finish. To finish and seal the exposed raw wood, I am using a hard wax. It gives it a really nice natural finish, and it really showcases all of that wood grain. I didn't want to use polyurethane because I felt that it wouldn't really bring out the richness in the wood, and using this wax really gives that effect. And I cannot believe how nice this wood grain looked underneath that old finish. It is just something that is super exciting to me. I am using Barkeeper's Friend to almost polish these. There's a really like a faux finish, or like a just like a fake finish over this brass, and rubbing that off gives it that nice lighter color and doesn't have it looking so yellow like it did before. All I have to do now is put all of the drawer handles back on to the nightstands and add that nice little brass trim piece that gives it a nice little accent. And then I'm going to put all the drawers back into these nightstands, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at how these turned out. So I feel that these nightstands really came a long way from that old dingy looking light brown to this really beautiful dark green with the natural wood accents. The wood grain is really popping compared to what it looked like before underneath that old finish, and the brass accents ties everything together. So at the end of my videos, I like to go over the numbers really quickly. I picked this up with the set, so I believe it was about $50 in total for these. All the material I already had on hand, so I don't really count that, leaving me with $300 profit. But if you want to go ahead and throw in another $20 for material, that's about $280 profit. I did sell these on the lower end because I want to move a little bit of my inventory to make room for more stuff. So thank you everybody for joining me on this journey, and I will see you on my next video.